What is happening, my block buddies? This is Blocked Content, and today we are looking at some more Nintendo Switch news, which kind of coincides with some Gamecube news. Now, I don't think you guys were kind of thinking about hearing about some Gamecube news today, but we actually are, and if you guys are hype about the Nintendo Switch and think about, can I still play my old games on there? Well, there's a little bit of disappointment there because the Switch is, of course, cartridge based, which means that the discs from both the Wii and the Wii U will not, fit in there in any way, shape, or form. But that's not necessarily the biggest loss in the universe because, as you know, there is something that we call Virtual Console, which is basically, sort of ROMs, playing games that came before on a new console, downloading them online and playing them. And now it seems through Eurogamer.net that there might be a little bit more information about, Virtual Console support for that system. And Eurogamer.net is, of course, this amazing website that I think you should all watch because they have the news. They have the news pretty quickly, and a lot of times I go there to just check up on, what's new in Nintendo land. So Eurogamer.net, definitely go there and have some fun. But for now, these sources say that Nintendo Switch will have GameCube Virtual Console support. To me, that is insane. Very excited because I kind of grew up in the GameCube era, right? I mean, we kind of grew up with the Nintendo 64 as well. I can remember getting it, I can remember playing it, but GameCube was when I was, in my teenage years, and I was kind of really getting into gaming a lot. And so the GameCube were kind of my formative years, kind of my GameCube is my dad, basically, is what I'm saying. GameCube dad. Please, someone draw the fan art GameCube dad with like a mustache on it. And saying, hey, go to bed. Go to bed, kid, stop playing on my console. Anyway, that's all cool and all, but the Virtual Console support is coming from the GameCube. I love this console to death, and I've played it so much, and hearing about this makes me so happy because there are 3 games that are rumored. And so one might have to do with a little bit of Sunshine, one might have to do with a little bit of Mansions, and one might have to do with a little bit of Melee. So let's read on Eurogamer.net to see. Nintendo Switch will be able to play GameCube games via its Virtual Console service. 3 separate sources have confirmed to Eurogamer, which is amazing because, these separate sources are people that all kind of hear it from, down the grapevine, I guess. And this is so cool because it means that this possibility is so high, and just introducing GameCube games to a system that is at least HD, I really wonder how those games will look, right? Because as you guys probably know, maybe some of you have actually, downloaded some illegal ROMs in the day and, played some GameCube games in HD on your computers, which looks amazing. I've seen some videos of it online, and that just looks pretty awesome because that console, was really, really making these amazing games as well as, producing these awesome graphics that we weren't always be able to see in the best of fashions. And one of these games definitely is Super Smash Bros. Melee, and that game still holds up quite well today. It looks amazing and it plays really well, but to me, that art style of everything being kind of more realistic than we expect was such a blast. And, thinking about that coming to Switch, that is something that I'm very excited about. So, GameCube support is already tested and working, we understand, and 3 Nintendo games have already been prepped for Switch. So these 3 games, those games are Super Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, and Super Smash Bros. Melee. These are kind of the big 3 to me. Maybe we're missing a Mario Kart in here somewhere. I like a lot of the GameCube games. I own, I think Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door was one of the best games ever made. And, not seeing that on this list makes me think maybe we'll get an HE remake or something, right? But the idea that Super Mario Sunshine is coming also kind of, nullifies the whole idea that we had, which could basically mean that Mario Sunshine 2 might be coming. But it seems that new Mario game that is supposed to be coming out for Switch will not be, some sort of Sunshine sequel at all. Instead, it probably will be something new entirely, and as we've all heard, maybe it will be called Worlds, right? Super Mario 3D Worlds or Super Mario Worlds. That could be very cool. But also the idea of Luigi's Mansion is very cool. But Luigi's Mansion, to me, it was the game that I picked up at launch with the system, and it still has this special place in my heart because Nintendo really hasn't made anything like that since. There's been The Dark Moon, there's been the sequel to Luigi's Mansion, But that was kind of a different game, right? It had the same elements, but it had none of the same charm, and it had none of the same, the vibe of going into this big mansion and exploring it. It was more level-based and stuff like that, which, is fine. It was a good game, but it was not as special as Luigi's Mansion for the GameCube was. That atmosphere just can't be beat by that kind of a game. So I'm very excited to play through that one again on my Switch, because if you think about it, these would be GameCube games. Okay, I'm going to make you guys very, very happy right now. These would be GameCube games that you could possibly take on the go. So just imagine this. I'm going to say something crazy right now, okay? Imagine spending a few bucks, right, on Super Smash Bros. Melee. Imagine buying that game, the Virtual Console version for the Switch. Imagine playing it on your system at home, right, with your friends, but then imagine taking the controller out of the dock, playing Super Smash Bros. Melee not only on the go, but maybe even connecting with other people who also have a Nintendo Switch and playing Super Smash Bros. Melee together wirelessly. Now this seems like, a dream beyond dreams, because even for, the big audience of competitive Melee players, this would be so much of a dream come true, and it would mean playing together with your friends would be a lot easier, and also playing it on the go would be amazing, because now all those big trips going out to events, you can actually play Smash Bros. Melee to prepare for those events. That'd be, insane. I would play Smash Bros. Melee every single day because I love that game, and as much as I also like Brawl and of course Smash Bros. For Wii U, Melee has this special place in my heart. We did a video on it actually for the 15th anniversary of Super Smash Bros. Melee, which was this year, so you can check out that video for our special memories of that game. But it shouldn't be said, Smash Bros. Melee is a special case, and having it for the Switch on the go, that would break my brain. That would be so amazing. So the report goes on and says, Wii U, and 3DS have all offered a virtual console service for downloading games released on earlier Nintendo hardware. Switch will be no different. I'm very happy to read this because it means that Switch is one of the, the big four, the Wii, the Wii U, the 3DS, and the Switch then. And to me, it makes perfect sense, and I kind of hope that Nintendo continues its previous, releases on that system. I kind of feel weird about always having to buy the original Super Mario Brothers. You guys have that, where you buy a virtual console game for one console? I bought it for the DS, right? I think that was possible at the time. Not sure. Maybe it was like a Redux version. And then I bought it for the Wii, which I played for a long time. I'm talking about the NES version, right, of the Super Mario Brothers game. And then I bought it for the 3DS, and then I bought it for the Wii U. So I have owned that game 5 times now, including the original release, of course. I have owned Super Mario Brothers 5 times, which is weird because there's probably going to be a 6th if it's going to be released on the Switch as well, which I think is highly possible. And again, taking those games on the go wouldn't be really new, because taking those games on the go would mean the same thing that 3DS would offer. So not that special to me, at least. And while the number of platforms to be offered on the Switch's Virtual Console has yet to be nailed down, Eurogamer's actually heard that there should be an upgrade program similar to that available on Wii U, where earlier purchases of Virtual Console NES games can be upgraded for a small fee rather than being bought again at first price. So that to me is sort of a consolation prize, right? It's not necessarily, you get the games for free that you already bought because this is a new system, but those games are exactly the same. You actually have to pay a small fee, which I think is weird. If I get a new computer and I, install Steam on it, I still have the same games, right? So I think Nintendo is a bit out of fashion, so I don't really think that's the best way to approach that. But they also say that they've heard that the Nintendo Switch's Virtual Console is being engineered by Nintendo European Research and Development, NERD, which is pretty funny. That smells nerd. The studio behind the recent NES Mini Micro Console, which sold out in many stores ahead of Christmas. So yeah, they pretty much know what they're doing, right? Which is good because, yeah, they, have that in hand. Every single thing about Nintendo is that they are working together quite closely. The first party kind of system does really well. Up next on its slate, a version of the GameCube, Animal Crossing, is currently being tested for potential release. Animal Crossing is a particularly interesting title as it included more than a dozen NES classics, such as Donkey Kong, Mario, and Zelda, to obtain and play within the game. So that would be pretty cool, not only owning Animal Crossing, which is an amazing game for the GameCube still, even though it was like the first time that the franchise really had its footing, but also, it means that you can play all these cool games like Donkey Kong, Mario, and Zelda. Impressively, we've also heard that support for these games is currently in Animal Crossing's Virtual Console build and working. So that's pretty awesome. So if all goes to plan, you would be able to play an emulated NES game within an emulated GameCube game on your Switch, on the bus or on the train or whatever. That is so cool. And Nintendo is also looking at Switch support for the Wii U's GameCube controller adapter peripheral. That would make me very happy because I bought that peripheral. Actually, I got it for my birthday, now that I remember it. I got it for my birthday a year ago, and I'm very happy with it still. But I don't really want to buy that thing again. I don't want to have to own two of them, even, for different consoles. Although we understand that a final decision has not yet been made. I think if you're going to port Super Smash Bros. Melee and not going to include some way to play it with the GameCube controller, I think people are going to be plenty angry with you. Because Melee is all but defined by its controller, I think, by the GameCube controller. Without that controller, all that power, all that beauty, all that grace is totally gone from that game. So fans have been asking for GameCube titles to be made available on Virtual Console for years, so why now? Well, Switch's increased power from Wii U is certainly a big factor. Digital Foundry actually ran tests to see how the GameCube's Dolphin emulator runs on Tegra X1 mobile technology, the one from NVIDIA, the chipset which powers the Switch. And the results were promising and suggested that the Switch should be able to run each game at least as well as its original state. How much better, of course, will depend on Switch's final hardware, which we don't know all that much about right now, but we can still speculate a little bit. Another big push behind the GameCube Virtual Console we hear is the desire within Nintendo to continue making Super Smash Bros. Melee easily playable. 15 years on from its initial release, Melee is still a hugely popular game in the esports scene and a regular major draw at huge competitions such as EVO. And here at Block Content, we play Smash like semi-competitively, right? We are very competitive about the game, but we don't really play it, as the pros do, and it doesn't look like what the pros play, but we play it very, very passionately, I should say. And actually, I've been thinking about getting a sort of a capture card for the Wii U so that I might be able to play some Smash Wii U with all you Block Content fans. So raise your hand if you want to play against me, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U online, and I'll record that video and I'll do some voiceover stuff and we'll have some fun together. How does that sound? Anyway, moving on. Melee's easily availability via the Switch Virtual Console will help all those matters rather than relying on aged hardware or third-party emulation. Nintendo actually declined to comment when contacted for everything that is said in, this video in the article. Switch is of course set to launch in March of 2017 and be revealed in further detail at an event in early January. As you guys know, that will be the 12th, 13th, and 14th. Also, thank you guys for watching. This was Blocked Content. Please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Become part of our awesome family. We have just very shortly gone over 1,500 subscribers, which is just insane. We're on our way to 2,000 subscribers, which to me is insane. We've just been at it. We've been at it for 5 months or something, right? And this ride has been incredible so far. And having 2,000 subscribers would mean the world to me, and I think that it might actually happen before the end of this year. I think we have about a month's work still left, and I think that if we all kind of push, we could get that 2,000. And what that will mean, and I'll say this for the very first time officially, you guys, are you ready? Are you ready for this one? If we hit 2,000 subscribers, we will, just as we did when we hit 1,000, do another awesome live stream. And as you guys remember that we're there, a live stream from Block Content actually means that we'll play games, a lot of games, and that we will leak some, Switch news from inside Nintendo, maybe something like that, and also that we'll do live, commenting, and that I'll play the drums on a few Nintendo songs as well. And you guys can put down in the comments which song you want, and then we'll have some fun together. So maybe hit 2,000 subscribers soon. Please invite your friends to, watch our videos and become part of our awesome family. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button because we need you right here. Your voice is important to me, and it's important to Block Content, and there are a lot of cool things on the horizon actually that I've yet to talk about, but a lot of those big, developments will happen in January for the channel, which I'm ecstatic about. I think we're going to grow, I think we're going to have a lot of fun together, and I think that Block Content will continue to provide news on Nintendo Switch, Nintendo, Smash Brothers, Mario Sunshine, and of course Luigi's Mansion for the Virtual Console. Who knows? There's more news always around the corner here on Blocked Content.